Hey, it's Citizens Bank. That's the 6th bank in 2 blocks. Boy, what a great area. If you've got money, and yes, a lot of old people do come in there just to watch the stock ticker. Too cheap to buy cable, I guess, and they just like to know what their money is doing. They give them Danish, although I think Danish sounds too Jewish. How did that happen? How did Danish sound Jewish? Another time. Take a look across the street. Yeah, that's bank number 8. 8 banks in 2 blocks. Nothing like revitalizing the neighborhood with a lot of banks. And of course, we have Borders Bookstore, which is like a bank, only it's got books in it. Although it does have less books than ever before. More CDs, teddy bears, book lights, greeting cards. As soon as they get rid of them friggin' books, they'll really be doing something. They're just waiting. So, we have the robber baron. Let's get back to Richard Snowden. Yes, Richard Snowden's family owns coal, timber, and gas. That does to West Virginia, well, what Michael Jackson did to, who's that little guy? Emmanuel Lewis. That's it. And he keeps Chestnut Hill always on the brink of, well, disaster, because not only does he own millions of dollars in strip mining properties in West Virginia, he also owns dozens and dozens of properties along this avenue, and he doesn't rent most of them. Why doesn't he rent most of them? There are different theories, and each one has its proponents, and each one has its evidence. A professor of economics at Temple University, you may know that as Bill Cosby University, sent me a 14-page paper saying that Richard Snowden keeps so many of his properties unrented so that he defrays his taxes on his family's coal, timber, and gas holdings. I'm not an economist. The other theory, and this has evidence too, is that Richard Snowden, well, I'll put it as kindly and non-litigious as I can, never really grew up. You see, Richard Snowden, although he lives in this neighborhood, is very mad at a lot of the people here. Why? Well, because they tell you things like I'm telling you. And when Richard Snowden gets talked about, Richard Snowden gets angry. He gets so angry that sometimes he puts up signs in front of his vacant stores saying, I will rent this store to check cashing, discount electronics, or nail salons. See, those 3 entities to Richard Snowden spell low class. His term, if I don't get my way, I will turn Chestnut Hill into a ghetto.